Well, hello again, everyone. Professor Profit coming to you from Gamblers University. And we've got a different roulette strategy for you this evening. Different in that the progression on it is something that you may have never seen before. I know I haven't. The Victory Vortex, this is presented by Yusuf Ozusen over on Spin Till You Wins channel. If you'd go over there and drop him a subscription if you didn't already, I'd appreciate it, and I know he would also. This is a big buy-in, $5,907, which is a weird number, I know, but it's the progression that causes that. It's an aggressive one, but it has 16 levels before you go busto, so very difficult to lose with this particular strategy. Now, we do hope you enjoy the video. If you do, we ask you to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, we'd love to have you hit the button and become part of the student body here at Gamblers U. Now, if you have a tweak you think might improve this strategy, please leave it in the comments below, and we will share that with the class and see if it's something we might want to incorporate next time we play this particular strategy. Now, as always, we do suggest that you try this strategy or any of them that we present to you on your software, your table at home. Get comfortable betting them and be confident that they can win you some money. So let's head on down to the felt now, and we'll discuss the nuts and bolts of the Victory Vortex. And then we'll spin the wheel for a few minutes and see if this is one we might want to take to the casino. So we'll see you down there shortly. So, all right, down here on the virtual roulette table, getting ready to spin the Victory Vortex, and that's by Yusuf Ozusen over on the Spin Till You Win channel, and I will link his channel in the description box below, so you can go over there and watch some of his videos and drop him a subscription if you haven't already, and help him get going. He's doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers, so if you go by there and add your name, I know he would appreciate it, and I would too. So Victory Vortex, this is a big buy-in, $5,907. That's because it's a pretty aggressive progression. Something similar to the Fibonacci, but not as aggressive as that one. It has 16 levels, so it's going to be hard to go busto on this one, but you will be puckering up here if you get too far into the progression. So we're going to go ahead and start off. This is a $1 bet to start, and so you can pick any of the dozens, and I kind of like to move them around. We'll start with the first dozen for $1. And we're spinning. Here we go. We're going to play for 10 or 15 minutes and kind of see how this goes. 14 red is a loss. So the next progression, you go from 1 to 8, and I'll switch. I'm going to go ahead and switch dozens on losses just because I like to move it around. I don't think it actually makes any difference. But it seems sometimes the wheel can get in a rut and not hit on a certain dozen quite a few times, and this will eliminate that particular problem by moving it around. So we lose at the $8 level, so the next progression is 11. So we'll put 11 on the third dozen this time. And as soon as we hit something, of course, we'll start over with the beginning of the progression. So there's another loss. So after 11, we go to 16. Let's go back to the second dozen. And we'll put a $16 bet on that. And let's spin. Off to a pretty rocky start here with 3 losses. And there's 17 black, so that's going to be our first win. And let's check where we are here. We're up 12 now. So since that's a win, we'll just stay on the second dozen and see if we can get on a little streak here. Double zero is not going to be a good streak. That's a loss. So let's go to the first dozen now, and we'll put 8 on that. And we're spinning. Here we go. And that's 4 black, so that's going to be a win for us. $16 win. So let's put $1 on the first 12, and we'll stay right where we are on wins, and we're moving around on losses. So there's 2 black. That's going to be another win, and that's another $2 win. So we'll rebet, stay at that first dozen. We're at $29. And there's 36 red, so that's going to be a loss. So let's go back to the second dozen for $8 in the progression. And we're spinning. And there's 20 black, so that's a win for us. And let's stay at that second dozen, go back to our base level of $1. We're sitting at $44 now. And that's 21 red. That's another win for us. $2 win. So let's stay right there and spin again. Now we'll put the progression levels in the description box, and that way you can kind of get an idea as we move up the ladder here what bets we're making. So that's another win. So we'll just rebet on a little bit of a streak here. We're at $48 now. And there's the double zero, so that's the loss. So we'll move to the third dozen now. And we'll go $8 as we move up to the second level in the progression. And there's 4 black, so that's going to be a loss, $8 loss. So let's go to the first dozen for 11. And we're spinning. $33 black, so that's a loss. So let's go to the second dozen now for 16. And we're spinning. $28 now. And there's 15 black. So that's going to be a win for us, $32 win. So we'll go back to the $1 bet base level. And now we're sitting at $60. And there's 11 black, so that's going to be a loss. So let's move to the third dozen for 8. We move up to the second level in the progression. And there's 36 red, so that'll be a win for us. And we'll go back to our base level of $1. Stay on the third dozen since we just had a win there. Sitting at $75 now, a new session high. And there's 23 red, so that's going to be a loss. So let's go to the second dozen and put an $8 bet down. Here we go. And there's 19 red, so that's going to be a win for us. So we'll go back down to our base level $1 bet, stay on the second dozen. And we're sitting at $90 now. And there's 24 black, so that's a win. So that puts us at $92. So we'll just rebet and stay in that second dozen until we lose. Then we'll move to another dozen. And there's 28 black, so that's a loss. So let's go to the first dozen. We'll go to $8 now. And we're spinning. $25 red is going to be a loss. So let's go to $11. We'll go down to the third dozen now. See if we can hit a big number here. 11 black is not a big number. So that's an $11 loss. The next bet on our progression is 16. And we're spinning. Sitting at $72 now. And there's 0 once again, so that's no help. So from 16 we go to 24. So we'll bet 24 on the first dozen. And see if we can get a hit here. We're spinning. $35 black, so that's another loss. And now we're up about as high on the progression as we've been this session. From 24 we go to 35 now, and we'll go to the third dozen for this one. See if we can hit here. 21 reds, that's another loss. So from 35 we go to 52. And we'll go to the second dozen. And we're spinning. Here we go. And there's the 0 again. So from 52 we go to 78. So let's go to the first dozen for those. And we're spinning. Here we go. So 23 reds, another loss. So from 78 we go to 116. And we'll go back to the second dozen for this one. And let's see if we can hit one in the middle here. And first doesn't hit, so that's another loss. So from 116 we go to 176. And we'll put that on the third dozen, and we're spinning. Actually, that should have been 174, but that's okay. So we lose there, so let's go back to the second dozen. We go to 260 now. And, well, we're on a really cold streak. So let's see if we can bust out of it and get a hit here. $18, so we finally get that hit that we're looking for. That's a $520 win, and that puts us at $95, a new high. So now we can go back to our base level, and let's stay on the second dozen since we won there. And we're spinning. So like I said, it's pretty aggressive progression, and you can get some pretty nervous bets there, which we did that last sequence. But we finally did hit it, and it's so many consecutive losses you have to have. We were barely halfway through the sequence, and we're still winning, when we finally hit something. So we lose on that. Let's go to the third dozen for 11 on this one. As we go to level 3, and let's give her a spin. That's 10 black. That's going to be a loss. So the next level is 16. We got 16 on the second dozen in our victory vortex strategy. And there's 16 red, so that's going to be a win for us. So we'll stay on the second dozen, go back to the base level, $1. And we're at a new session high of $107 now. There's 19 red, that's another win, so that puts us at 109. So let's bet and spin again. And there's 18, another win, 18 red. So we'll stay right here in the second dozen, spin again. 21 red, another win, so we're on a little bit of a hot streak now, which we deserved after that one cold streak we had. And there's 3 red, that's going to be a loss. So let's go to the third dozen now for 8. And we're spinning. And there's 15 black, so that's going to be a loss. So let's move to the first dozen. And the next number bet in the sequence is $11. So 11 on the first dozen, and we're spinning. 30 red is going to be a loss, so 16 is the next number in the sequence. And let's move to the second dozen for that one. And give her a spin. That seems to be the hot section for us, is that second dozen. See if it'll come through for us again. No, not this time. So from 16 now, we'll go to 24. Let's go to the third dozen. And see if we can pick up a win here. $21 red is going to be another loss. So from 24, we go to 35. And we'll go to let's go back to the second dozen for this one. And we're spinning. Here we go. 22 black, and that's the second dozen hit, so that's a win for us. A $70 win, and that puts us at another session high of $123. So I think we're going to go ahead and call this a session at this level. We've been playing for a little over 10 minutes, so that gives you a pretty good feel of how the Victory Vortex by Yusuf Ozusen over on Spin Till You Win channel, roulette channel. $5,907 buy-in. We ended up at $6,030. That's a $123 profit using the Victory Vortex. So we hope you enjoyed that. If you did, we ask that you give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Gamblers University channel, we'd love to have you hit the button and become part of the student body here at Gamblers U. As always, we value your comments, so if you have a tweak you think might help this strategy, we'd sure love to hear from you. And we'll share that with the class and see if it's something they might want to incorporate in their game. So thank you once again to Yusuf over at Spin Till You Win. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. Till that time, if you're out there spinning that wheel, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. We hope all your numbers come up winners. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.